agriculture for one, and because this is a mainstay and the backbone of our economy. At least that's what we say. And feel free even to blame the government on this one if you must, but how come the major or the main backbone of our economy is not providing opportunities for employment, even self-employment for young people?
Yeah, it's not providing employment because also we look at the mindset of the society. They think that tilling land is something for school dropouts, and again, they are not enthusiastic in agriculture, while agriculture, manufacturing, and agro-processing, these are sectors which have they have an ability to employ very many youths. If only the government can incentivize, maybe they can enable those sectors to grow by giving out maybe small. They can give technical. Technical help to those in the villages, so that they can come up. These sectors can improve and maybe employ even more.
But even when we go to school now, because the discussion today was about the level of education and the lack of jobs, and you're trying to balance. Watu wamesoma ndio lakini kazi hakuna. How many of your friends do you know who have gone to school to study issues around agriculture in Kenya, if at all it is the mainstay of our economy? Castro.
Sure. I know several who has the degrees and diplomas in agricultural sector, and I have friends of mine actually who have already in the agri business. Some of them they are doing now the innovative agriculture, the agri entrepreneurship, the hydroponics.
Do we have any who have gone to school for agricultural education and they have no jobs?
Yeah. There are so many of them who have gone to school to study issues of agriculture, extension services, but they are still unemployed. And you remember, this is a sector that should actually absorb young people or absorb Kenyans immediately, because it's a very booming sector. But it's a sector that is also vested with so many interests from each and every sector, or maybe each and every sector has some invested interest by those people who are called cartels. And I want to talk about the agriculture because I'm more on the tea sector, because I'm a tea farmer, I'm a tea preneur. And I'm saying a teapreneur because we are doing a value addition of the teas. Now we are generating carbonated or energy fruited teas. And these fruited teas, we have a very big problem because we do not have the facility to do the value addition or agro-processing here in the country. And the cost of course, doing it here is more bigger than the cost of doing from a foreign country and importing the already ready-to-drink substance. So that issue, that discrepancy of the cost of production in the country is also scaring away young people from setting up such agro-processing factories or agro-processing industries. And also the agro-processing industries that we have, look at the sugar sector. The sugar sector, we just privatized the sugar companies that we have been having because they're not operational. And they're not becoming operational not because of their young people are not farming the sugar canes, or farmers are not farming the sugar. They are. But the administration and the management of those factories are not effective and efficient as it ought to be.
Okay.
Also, how are we as community or as government, and this one is on government, how are we supporting agriculture? How are we supporting the young people or the farmers in the agriculture? Because as in the tea sector, the industry is becoming now a rotten sector. Farmers are becoming tired of doing the same thing they have been doing with all results. So you don't expect young people who has been grown now to the tea sector to also come and realize that the sector is still not working the way it should be working, and expect them to use their time also to
do the
dwell
same.
much onto that. So
Okay.
it is high time the government try to create some sustainability in such kind of sectors, because even whatever the government is doing, whatever William Ruto as president is promising, whatever President Uhuru Kenyatta promised, it was never sustainable. You can look at how Uhuru Kenyatta tried to vote the young people through the Kazi Mitaani. Was it sustainable? It was not sustainable. Those are not the kind of jobs that young people are going to school to come and get created.
And I'd want to give the other four an opportunity to comment on either agriculture or any other sector you feel is underutilized in as far as production of employment is concerned. I just mentioned agriculture because that's the mainstay of our economy. There could be others. Even the housing sector is one of them. Let's start with you, Sakwa.
About the agriculture sector, I feel like the agriculture sector, the reason why it is undervalued at the moment is because of all the, I don't know if I should say cartelism, because you find if it is manure, or rather fertilizer, there are so many cases about it. Farmers are not getting fertilizer, and if they are getting the fertilizer, it has issues like rocks inside fertilizer. And then example is like in the region of Gusii, Kisii and Nyamira, you find that the tea farmers are the lowest paid in the country, while I believe the tea in Kenya is equally produced. So you find people are not that encouraged or enthusiastic about it. You find for you to be able to produce even sugarcane, it becomes a war zone. Look at the factories in Western. So it becomes a huge problem in terms of agriculture, where certain areas are thriving and certain areas are being either dismissed or they're being brought down. And part of certain parts of the key sectors in the country, you find this is also being relatable there, whereby it is a struggle to produce. Either you have to bribe people through corruption, or you either have to have fights. Let's say, for example, land. Land is a key issue in our country, whereby everybody is claiming to own that land, or there's fights among family members. So there are certain things that are making the economy being harder for the investors and also the farmers and also all key.
You feel like if at all the government would standardize the rates and how the level of earning for farmers, tea farmers, the same way they earn in Kiambu should earn in Kisii, do you believe that that would encourage university graduates to venture into that?
Well, that will be a start. It won't only encourage it, but it will be a start, because at the end of the day, if it's making good money, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Juliet. Which sector do you think would be, or do you think agriculture could be the way out? Because we're trying to stop we don't want to make it a blame shop and just